Some universities are very strict with this. Basically, as of now that I'm making this video, I have changed to we are moving forward with another candidate. All those painful email. Why is nobody talking about it? Japan, immediately you finish, they are showing you the airport. And I'm happy that I have brought the long-awaited answer to the long-awaited question of what next. So hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Chilo here once again, as always. I'm actually excited. Can you tell? I'm happy about the video I'm filming today. I'm excited. Some video titles or video topics just make you more excited. I don't know why. I don't even know what I'm saying. But yeah, welcome back to the channel. It's Chilo here once again, as always. Guys, today I am filming, will I say, one of the most requested videos since people found out that I am a student in Japan. Because, I mean, it's a very legitimate question. Before you choose a country, whether it's scholarship or self-funding, some of the questions that people, are interested in knowing their answers are things like, okay, can you change your visa after graduation? Is there any possibility of, because there used to be a country that really you're graduating, they're showing you the airport, and then sometime last 2 years or last year they now did the whole post-study work visa, and then they became hot cake. If you know, you know. So I get that it's a very major question or major research people do, and so it didn't really shock me when people started to ask that kind of question. Each time I do a question and answer video, all these about Japan especially, that's the kind of video that gets those kind of questions. But if you know me and you've been watching for some time now, you already know that I have a mantra or something I live by. I don't like to talk about something that I have not personally gone through, something that I have not personally experienced. Yes, content is good, but to me and my integrity, quote and unquote, everything is not content, everything is not view, everything is not clouds, that kind of thing. Because I don't want to mislead anybody, I like to talk about something that I've experienced. And to be honest, talking about that, I was not supposed to do this video alone today. I was supposed to do this video with someone else who has graduated way longer than me, like years ahead of me in this conversation. Of course, not everybody is okay with being on YouTube, and I'm very fine with that. But before this video, I called her, the person, and she kind of just told me everything I needed to know, especially about one particular category I'll be talking about that she knows more than me. So she kind of shared all her ideas. So this is me saying I might be one person seated here, but I speak from the mouth of two people. Yeah, so simply put, today's video is about possible things you can do after graduation, like possible things you can do about your visa status here in Japan after graduation. As you know, I have graduated now, and I know that that's one question that a lot of people are interested in knowing. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. So there are actually 4 things, to the best of my knowledge. There might be more. I am not an immigration expert. I'm just sharing from my experience and that of the people that I have interacted with over the last 5 years plus living in Japan. So I just like to put this kind of disclaimer. So to the best of my knowledge and the best of my research, there are 4 major things you can do after graduation or even before graduation. Because technically, why I'm doing like this is because I personally feel I faulted this one. I'm not here to brag about it, but technically you're supposed to declare your new status at least 2 weeks after it has changed. So let's say you graduated, let's say you graduated September, you're supposed to declare your change in status after 2 weeks. You're not supposed, even though your visa, you might have extra like 2-3 months on your visa, the right thing is actually that you're supposed to declare what has changed, the new thing you're going to be doing technically after 2 weeks, right? So it's important you know these things before your graduation, and even start some of them before your graduation. So the very first thing on my list out of the 4 things I'll be saying is there is a possibility. So other countries call it post-study work visa, right? Japan actually calls it job hunting visa. I heard this for the very first time. I know it has been in existence, but I heard it from the very first time from the said lady that was supposed to do this video with me. There's actually something called job hunting visa, and it's under the designated activities category. So literally, as the name implies, some people stay back in Japan for different activities. So one of the activities that you can be staying back for is job hunting. So just as the name implies, it just literally means that you intend to stay back for the purpose of job hunting, for searching for a job. So the maximum duration you can get from this is actually 1 year, but they don't give you the 1 year at first, like you just go, they give you 1 year. What they give is, first they give you 6 months, and then after 6 months you can renew again and get extra 6 months. So in total you get 1 year. Actually, during the pandemic period, to be honest, because I actually thought it was 18 months, because during the pandemic period when I met someone, she actually had 18 months. She got 18, her total was 18 months. So it meant that during the pandemic, because they understood that, okay, because companies were stalling and all those things, they kind of made it 18 months. But that was there. The actual thing on the website, do a Google search, is cumulative total of 1 year, which you get six months in 2 installments. Now, how do you go about this? The major documents you would need, to the best of my knowledge, of course there will be more. I advise that for this particular category, it's just best you check Japan Immigration Bureau online. Just do a quick job hunting visa, Japan immigration, just that kind of thing on Google. You will see it. Definitely, it's not hidden on the website. So some of the things you would need, in addition, like there are so many things they will ask from you, but the one major thing that everybody says they will ask is recommendation letter from your university. So technically, as the name implies, your university has to, more like, okay, yeah, she studied here or he studied here, he's graduating, this kind of thing, that kind of thing. It's literally like they are vouching for you, your guarantors. It makes sense because you're job hunting, so you have a degree. Another thing that is important to note is that this kind of visa is only, from my research, is only available to degree holders. So that's to say you got a degree from Japan, not like vocational training and those kind of things. There might be something for vocational training, but particular one, to the best of my knowledge, is actually for degree holders. So what you have to do is, you have to go to the student support section, maybe for your department or for your faculty. They are the people that they are in the best position to tell you, okay, what to do. But for my university, from speaking with some people from my university, when you go to the student support section, they are going to give you like a form that you take to your professor. So before they can give you that recommendation letter, your professor too has to sign, because the school is big, they don't know every single person one by one. It's your professor that is the direct head that they communicate with, right? So your professor will sign something, stamp something, and then you take it and submit it back to the student support section, whoever is in charge of your department or your faculty, and then they would prepare the recommendation letter and give to you. So based on this thing, it already tells you that this is dependent, this whole getting of job hunting visa is dependent on the university, on your professor. And that's why it's important to have a good relationship with your professor. It's not because you're graduating, you now start telling everybody, go to hell, start doing bullshit, yo man, bullshit. Please maintain a good relationship with your professor. You don't know when you will need him or her, you get. And as in regards university, I heard that some universities are very strict with this. Some universities maybe have had bad experiences with students who say they want to stay back for job hunting. So some universities might not want to renew the second installment of 6 months. They might just do the 6 months, and when you come back to do extra 6 months. But literally, just find out with your university, there is actually something called job hunting visa, and they will put you through. And then you can ask them on time, even before graduation, maybe when you're already in your last semester, when should you start? When is the actual time to start, so that you're not in violation of anything immediately after graduation. They will just be in the best place. So another documents that they will ask for, just like the name implies, you're staying back for job hunting. So it is presumed that you have already started job hunting, quote and unquote. So they will need proof of job hunting, that you started job hunting. So the kind of proof they need, you can show them, is like all these emails, all these, unfortunately we regret to inform you that we are moving forward with another candidate. All those painful email, you can attach it as your proof that you have started job hunting. Another thing they would require, definitely, which is I'm talking about the immigration people. Another thing that they will require is actually proof that you can survive. So now that you're no longer a student, especially for those of us that were MEC scholars, you're no longer being paid this and that, how are you going to survive this period you're going to be looking for a job, that kind of thing. So you have to show maybe a certain amount of money. It's not supposed to be so outrageous because you're a student, right? But you have to have something substantial that, okay, I can survive on this. You get that kind of thing. So yes, you show that. There are other things, but I just advise you check the website for the ones I might have left out. But these ones I mentioned are like the important ones that you have to keep in mind. Another thing to note for this is that just as a student visa is not a work visa for you, as in, just as a student visa does not outrightly permit you to get a part-time job, same with this one. Calm down, let me explain. So the student visa, like every other country in Japan, is for you to study. Now if you want to get part-time job, just to survive while you're looking for a main job that will sponsor your visa, you will need like a part-time stamp or a part-time permit, which is the same thing a student will need. So as a student, behind my residence card is a stamp that says that I am allowed to do part-time jobs. So both, as long as it's part-time job, whether you're a student, whether you're a dependent, or whether you're job hunting personnel, the average working hours they give you is 28 hours per week. So it's important you ask for it, because if you don't ask them, if you don't tell them, they will just give you normal job hunting visa, and with that one you cannot do part-time. Of course, you're supposed to survive while looking for a job and the people that will sponsor your visa. So please don't forget to also tell them that you need the part-time permit so that you can pick up 1 or 2 things while you're looking for a job. Yes, I think I've covered everything for this first category, which, like I said, is called job hunting visa under the designated activities category. So that's it. I've dwelt so much, and I think that's the bulk of this video. Now, the second one I'll be talking about is definitely work visa. This one is a no-brainer. So you can change from student visa to work visa if you get a job that can sponsor your visa. So there are people who are lucky, maybe before graduation, and that's something that Japan has a culture, like a job hunting window culture. So even the actual Japanese people, before graduation, they take out time. Let's say a master student that has 2 years in Japan takes out time and starts looking for a job before graduating. So if you know that this is something you want to do, you can just discuss with your professor and start job hunting on time. So there are different sectors, different job sectors that you could get a job for. But I know that the most common one from the people I talk with and my acquaintances, my friends, everything, is usually the teaching English category. That's you want to stay back and teach English, which is common because Japan obviously is not an English speaking country. And if you're going to do that, they will give you, the company, some schools or company will sponsor you, and it's usually, the visa it's work visa, but the category is actually called instructor visa because you're an instructor, right? But it's not only that one that is available. Of course, some people stay back for tech, some people stay back for health. So all of them have their names. There are people that maybe might be hospital, they have their names, but yes, work visa is something you can consider. If you're looking for something very fast, I won't really say like fast. That I said fast does not mean that you can pluck it on the tree, but definitely you should try out teaching English in Japan. Those kind of jobs are readily available, and I have a whole video about it. I did it with Thelma that was in Japan teaching English. I'm going to link that video down below. In that video, I had listed so many links in the description box about so many companies that are even hiring from overseas. Let me tell you the trick. If you're already in Japan, some companies would even prefer you that is already in Japan and having to bring someone all the way from another country because of obvious reason. So you can maximize that advantage that you have because you are already here in Japan and you studied here. Also, I'm not so sure, I think this also favors degree holders, but this does not mean that there will not be other work or job sectors that cannot sponsor someone that did vocational studies. But I'm just saying, I think most teaching English companies, or recruiters are interested in people that at least have a degree, whether it's BSc, MSc, PhD, they have a degree. I think I should link 2 videos actually. One is the one I did with Thelma. That one is solely strictly on teaching English, the companies you can reach out to, you can apply for their jobs, they always have openings. Another one is broadly jobs, not just teaching English job. The websites you can check if you're also looking out for other sectors. So when once they sponsor you, you can change your visa status from student visa to work visa, which at the end of the day, even with the job hunting visa, that is still like the end goal. Does it make sense? Yeah, that's still like the end goal. So yeah. And the third one I'll be talking about, this one is, this one is just, when I sat down, I was like, okay, this one is actually something that I know someone that has done it, which is going for a further degree. If you want to, let's say you started job hunting and maybe you're not really getting the kind of response you want or the kind of companies you want, you can decide to apply for PhD, maybe in your school or maybe in another school. I think it's just easier in your school sometimes, but that does not mean I have not seen people that went to other schools, right? But why I said I think it's just easier in your school is because you already know the system. Your professor is already there to advise you on what to do or what not to do. Even if you want to change lab, you can easily use your leg and go to the next professor's lab, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's something you can consider doing to masters, you try to PhD, and then you can explore scholarship options while doing that in your school. Some universities have some scholarships that are for students who are already in the system, like unlike MEXT, Japanese government scholarship, that is interested in bringing you all the way from your country, as they did for me, from Nigeria down to Japan. There are actually some other subtle scholarships that universities themselves give. I'm not saying you must see. I'm just saying on an average, you can start researching on those kind of things to make it easier for you financially. You can ask around. So if they have those kind of scholarships, as long as you are a student, a current student, you might benefit from it and then proceed to PhD. Now, if you're someone who has finished PhD, you can also decide to do postdoc. At least I know about 2 people who decided to do postdoc, or 3 self now. Yes, 3 people who did postdoc, so you can ask your professor. He might not have opening. You can ask the faculty, you can apply, you can search postdoctoral fellowship. There are even some postdoctoral like scholarships you can apply for. And once you get the funding, many labs will be willing to have you because you have the funding. But simply put, this particular one is going for another degree. That buys you time to decide on what you want to do next. Do you want to do what, which sector, this one? But most of these things, you can maximize most of these points when you start on time, when you start early. Because it's not when you have already finished your masters that you now start thinking, oh, I want to do PhD. Why? Because the academic calendar here is not a jam-packed calendar. Japan has 2 calendars typically, the April calendar and the October calendar. So if you're going to graduate in October, it's not after your graduation you now start applying for PhD that will start in October. So if you want to consider this thing, please start on time. Maybe in your last semester or your last year, start making inquiries and know which one favors you. So just start on time, right? Okay. So of course, if you're going to proceed to another degree, you can extend your student's visa status. You can apply for more years with evidence. Evidence to just be admission letter and some things. And yeah, you're a student is that you're a student. You just continue with your student's visa. And the last one, drum rolls. Why I'm putting drum rolls? The reason it made it to this list, let me just be sincere, is because that's what I did. The last one is changing to a dependent or a spouse visa, but that is if your spouse is here and your spouse is an independent person, is independent to, like, how to say, person has his or her own visa standing. So for me, like, my husband is here and my husband still has his visa validity running. So I decided I was just going to do the spouse visa or the dependent visa. Of course, just like the student visa, job hunting visa, except the full-time work visa, any other visa gets 28 hours per week part-time permit. So I have the permit behind my residence card. Basically, as of now that I'm making this video, I have changed to spousal or dependent visa. So it's something you can explore if you have someone here, if your husband or your wife is here. For this one, you need your marriage certificate. I think I also showed, which was funny, that day I actually also showed my graduation certificate, because I'm changing from student's visa to spousal visa. So maybe just to show that I actually was a student, I showed my certificate. My husband showed his residence card, he also showed some kind of proof of fund, not like proof of fund, like what is giving him income, that kind of thing, money that enters and accounting for it, because now that you're dependent, quote and unquote, you are depending on this person, that kind of thing. So those are the kind of documents that they asked for. Yeah, so guys, that's all for this video. I really do hope that this video is helpful in case you are already here and you don't know what next, especially that number one, job hunting. I never knew it existed till I spoke to this said lady, and I'm like, really, why is nobody talking about it? And she said actually she doesn't know why, because someone told her. That's how she knew. You get? So it's not like it's a secret, but especially that number one, because a lot of times people feel like Japan, immediately you finish, they are showing you the airport. No, you can actually get a job hunting visa or work visa or proceed or spouse visa. And yeah, I hope this video helps anybody that is already here, or maybe someone who is weighing their options. They are considering different countries and they're just trying to make their investigations about Japan. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm happy that I have brought the long awaited answer to the long awaited question of what next. What next after someone studies in Japan? What next? What does the person have to do next with their visa status? What next? How can you stay back, or blah, this kind of things. I'm just happy that I've finally done this video. Thank you guys once again for watching, and see you next time on Chilotalks. Bye for now, guys.